Bon, on parle maintenant de la conjugaison des verbes réguliers en ER. Et il faut dire aussi des verbes réguliers ER au présent. L'infinitif, donc, de ce verbe régulier en ER, par exemple, c'est parler. Parler, to speak. L'infinitif. Remember, l'infinitif means that all this does is give you the meaning. It doesn't tell you who does it, nor does it tell you what time frame it is. When you look at the verb parler, you will see two parts. Parle, which is called la radicale, the stem, and er, which is called la terminaison, the ending. So each verb has these two parts to it. Radicale, terminaison. Unless it's a highly irregular verb like être. Okay, so let's take a look at... Bon, pour la conjugaison du verbe parler, vous avez le sujet, je, tu, il, nous, vous, elle. Vous avez la radicale, parle, 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 parle. Radicale, parle. Et vous avez la terminaison. Donc, regardons la terminaison pour je parle. Pour tu parles. Pour il parle. Pour nous parlons, ONS. Pour vous parlez. Pour elle parle. Écoutez, je parle, tu parles, il parle, elle parle. Parle, 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 parle. 4 fois la même prononciation. Je parle, tu parles, il, elle en parle, elle parle, il parle. Pas de différence, mais nous parlons, vous parlez. Because the je, tu, il, and elle form are all pronounced the same, you either must hear the subject or know from context what your subject is, because you can't hear the difference. Maintenant, répétez. Je parle. Tu parles. Il parle. Nous parlons. Vous parlez. Elle parle. Et maintenant, pour un autre verbe, l'infinitif de ce verbe, c'est travailler. L'infinitif, travailler. Ici, vous avez le sujet. Ici, la radicale. La radicale, c'est travail. T-R-A-V-A-I-2-L. Et ensuite, la terminaison. Donc, la terminaison pour je, c'est le E. Pour tu, c'est ES. Pour il, elle, on, ici ma sœur, c'est E. Nous travaillons, O-N-S. Vous travaillez, la terminaison EZ. Et les élèves travaillent, la terminaison E-N-T. Et comme vous avez vu dans parler, je travaille, tu travailles, ma sœur travaille, les élèves travaillent. Même chose. No difference in pronunciation. Mais nous travaillons, vous travaillez. And now for stem changing verbs. Remember stem, that's your radical. So that means that which is identified as your stem, radical, changes for these verbs. So here for the verb acheter, you have radical A-C-H-E-T, and your ending, terminaison, ER, acheter. So for the form je, you have j'achète. For the form nous, you have nous achetons. So nous achetons has the same stem as acheter, whereas j'achète has to change. And if you notice, it has an accent grave. So the stem change is from no accent to accent grave. Let's take a look at how this conjugation plays out. Bon, ici maintenant, vous avez la conjugaison du verbe acheter. C'est l'infinitif acheter. Et la radicale, vous avez la radicale ici, la terminaison ici. Donc pour je, j'achète, accent grave. Pour tu achètes, accent grave. Ton ami achète. Nous achetons, vous achetez, mes parents achètent. So, j'achète, tu achètes, ton ami achète, mes parents achètent. Mais nous achetons, vous achetez. This letter is not pronounced. Listen again carefully. J'achète, tu achètes, ton ami achète, nous achetons, vous achetez, mes parents achètent. I'm now going to draw a blue box around all these verb forms that have the stem change. As you learn more stem changing verbs, you will find that it's always the same subjects that do that. Je, tu, il, elle, on, and il, elle, pluriel. Bon, voici, vous avez le verbe répéter. L'infinitif de ce verbe, c'est répéter. Notez, accent aigu, accent aigu. Donc, le sujet, je, tu, le prof, etc. Ici, la radicale et la terminaison. Donc, regardons quelle est la conjugaison pour le verbe répéter. Donc, je répète. Tu répètes. Le prof répète. Nous répétons, vous répétez, et les amis répètent. See, in the blue box, these are the same subjects as you had earlier. Je, tu, le prof, les amis. Je répète. It's a change from accent aigu to accent grave. Je répète, tu répètes, le prof répète. Nous répétons, you respect the accent aigu. Vous répétez, you respect the accent aigu. Les amis répètent. Can you hear the difference between répète, répéter, répète, répéter, répète, répéter. One last comment that has to do with slight changes in spelling affects verbs such as commencer. Commencer, to start, is the infinitive, has the letter combination C-E-R. Now, if you've been paying attention over the years to the words that you've learned, when you have a C that's followed by E or I, the pronunciation of that C is like an S. C. But when you have a C that is followed by an A or an O or a U, the pronunciation is like a K. You have that same phenomenon in English. The verb seed, C-E-D-E, C followed by E, pronounced like an S, or cat, C-A. So it's exactly the same phenomenon. C followed by E-I is pronounced like an S, C followed by A, O, or U is pronounced like a K. So when you pronounce this verb here, je commence. When you pronounce this verb as it is written, Nous commençons. Well, that sounds wrong. That can't be. So what you need to do in order for this to sound right is you need to transform this into a cédille. Nous commençons. And now your sound is going to be the S sound that you want. That only happens when your consonant is followed by an O or an A or a U, and you want to preserve the pronunciation. So instead of saying nous commençons, which sounds ridiculous, you do a cédille, and then you have nous commençons. The same thing happens for verbs with a G, like nager. When you have a G followed by EI, it's soft, ja. When you have a G followed by A or U, it becomes hard, a ga. A good example is the verb garage, for even in English, it follows. Soft G is pronounced like this here, garage, j. Hard G is pronounced like ga. Okay. So now when you pronounce these verbs, je nage, no problem. But when you have nous, nagon, you don't want to have that. That sounds really odd and wrong. So what you want to do is add an E to make it soft again. So now you have nous nageons. So this kind of change you make with all verbs that have G-E-R. Nous nageons, nous voyageons. These are not called stem-changing verbs simply because you don't change the stem, you just adjust the spelling to reflect pronunciation.